All right, welcome back to the Nordic News Podcast. This is episode 3. We have your host here. My name is Daniel.
I'm Charlie.
And I'm Will.
Yeah, we're here from Inglemoor, and we have 2 very special guests. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Sure. My name is Fenris Gibbons. I am a senior at Innovation Lab.
My name is Katie Chido. I'm also a senior at Innovation Lab. Should probably take off my mask. You can actually hear me.
Oh, I mean, we didn't mention our grades, but all 3 of us are juniors, and Lucas behind the camera is also a junior. I guess sort of just to get us started, why did you guys choose to go to Innovation Labs?
Sure. I can go first.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm eating an outside mitt, so excuse me if I fumble my words. So I chose to go to Innovation Lab. I've been at Innovation Lab for all 4 years, so my whole high school career, I guess. I chose to go to Innovation Lab back when I was in 8th grade in like 2020, right before the pandemic hit, because I wanted to have more than just grades and SAT scores and the fact that I passed AP English 12 or whatever to represent me to colleges. I wanted to be able to demonstrate I can actually do work. I didn't just study for the test, memorize it, forget it. I know how to do projects. I know how to work with people. I've got marketable skills, and that was what Innovation Lab was advertising itself as at the time. We didn't technically quite get there until a couple years ago, because we're still figuring stuff out, but I'm happy with what we're at right now.
Yeah. I actually transferred to Innovation Lab during my 10th grade year, right at the start in September, which was my first year of high school in person. So before that, I had gone to Bothell High School over Zoom, and just kind of trying to sit through lectures didn't really connect with me. It just didn't work in my brain. And so I was like, oh, this school, I heard about it from a friend of mine who was going there. They're like, hey, this school, we're doing more project things. So we're trying to move away from lectures and stuff. And I was like, please let me come to your school. Please, I hate lectures. And it ended up being a really great fit for me, just between project-based learning and trying to make sure that you're the one who's kind of putting yourself out there and making sure that you are responsible for the opportunities you have. That ended up being just really beneficial to me in general.
And I know, because Innovation Lab is it's kind of less traditional than the normal high school, so people don't really know about it. Can you guys give a little insight to what your experience has been so far, what you guys have learned?
Yep.
You should go first, because I started last time.
So something that I think is very different about Innovation Lab compared to traditional high schools is that we are a lot more student focused. So a lot of the things that happen at the school were ideas that were brought forward by students, or things that were done by students. I think a good example of this is actually our Flex Wednesdays. On Wednesday, we kind of have an asynchronous day. We meet first we have our club slot, and then perseverance time, which is kind of hey, you can go and meet with this teacher. You can have office hours, basically. And then 2 flex slots, which are basically enrichment. Sometimes we have a guest speaker. Sometimes you just do more office hours. And it kind of goes through that throughout the day, ending with your second club. And that was something that was brought forward and proposed initially by students. So I feel that's a pretty good example of something that kind of separates Innovation Lab from what you get in your traditional high school. Just student leadership, student initiative, flexibility.
One of our main, selling points, I guess you could call them, is our mastery learning record, or mastery transcript as it was referred to up until this year, I think, which is basically just instead of having just your traditional transcript, because we are required to have those because the state requires it, we also have a mastery transcript where it basically shows what skills you've learned throughout high school and you've demonstrated through your projects, your classwork, etc., extracurriculars maybe, if you want to count those. And it has the skills. I think we have 20 skills.
Too many.
There's a lot of work. I don't know. 20 or 20?
6 with free and into it.
Oh, okay. Something like that. 18-ish. We have 5 subheadings, and then there's smaller skills. I don't know. It's a little bit confusing if you don't look at the list while I talk about it. But we have those skills, and we do a lot of projects. Our whole thing is project-based learning. So instead of doing a lot of tests, we do still do that for math and science, because it's about remembering the material and being able to repeat that again. But for English electives, even math and science, sometimes we do a lot of projects, and so each project usually has at least one or two of those skills attached to it. And so if you do a good job on the project, then the skills are added to your little transcript. And I think second semester junior year you get, yeah, I don't, that's what Miss Mo said. You get, you get full access to your transcripts. You can look at it and you can put stuff in there, and you can put in like artifacts, which are the projects that you did to earn those skills. So I wrote a book for one of my projects last year.
Wow.
It was a year-long project, so it was a while, but and so if I wanted colleges to be able to see like the work that I actually did for that, I could attach it to my transcript. So when they send the transcript to the colleges can like click through it and be like, oh, look, this is the actual project that they did. So there's a lot more like project stuff and like this is the skill you're learning and this is the stuff you need to get that skill. But I think it does work. I think I actually have learned a lot more about like collaboration and stuff than I probably would have at just like Bothell, which is my home high school. But yeah.
Could you give us some examples of those skills that you say you learned? I don't really know anything about
So we have, the way that I've heard it described a lot is we have like big buckets and then smaller buckets in that.
Yeah.
So like oh my gosh, I don't know if I can remember all of them off the top of my head. There's like collaboration, critical thinking, creativity, community, citizenship, which is like, you know, being a good person and like how you can provide or improve your community. Agency, which is like your ability to motivate yourself and kind of operate as an independent adult. I think that's
the big ones.
Yeah, those are the ones I can think of. And then you have kind of subcategories of that. Like in collaboration, you might have like responsiveness. Like this is how you respond with your team that you're working with. Or like tools for collaboration. Like, oh, I use Discord to talk with my team and I use like Microsoft Teams and I can collaborate with the groups that I'm working with like in multiple ways. So you've got this one big skill and then two smaller skills that kind of like work together to build hopefully one big person who is good at doing these things by the time you graduate.
And then we also have a smaller list called advanced skills. So once you've got like maybe senior, junior year, you have most of the, you know, normal ones. It's about 4 years. Hopefully you have most of them. Then you can do like advanced skills. So say I wrote a book that's weird and crazy. And so I could get like, you know, the advanced creative writing skill. I did more and I want that credit. I can submit like a form that says like, this is what I did. This is how it meets the requirements. And then our crew, which is kind of like homeroom. So like our overseeing teacher will look at the form and be like, yes, you did all the requirements here, get the skill, and you can put in your transcript. So that kind of helps you show like more specialization for colleges. Like if I wanted to do like creative writing as a major, I could be like, hey, look, I've actually like done all this stuff and you can see it. Things like that. Yeah. I could list maybe all of these skills, but I don't want to. There's a lot of them.
I don't think we have anything like a homeroom or a crew at high school, right?
Yeah, we used to have a homeroom, but they got rid of it after COVID.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you guys were mentioning the Flex Wednesdays. I think we recently adopted something kind of similar. It's called our Viking time, but it's on Wednesdays and Thursdays, which are like our block days. It's about, is it 50 minutes?
Yeah, 50 minutes.
So it's nothing like the whole day, but we kind of either get the choice of staying in either your third or your fourth period class, or you can go to your club. Of course, we have a lot of clubs to choose from, or you can, as you guys also mentioned, get into those office hours. And I believe that was also something that was brought up by some students. I think that's kind of cool. I've personally appreciated it because I think it gives me more freedom to kind of get my work done.
Yeah.
So I can really see where you guys can fun with that.
Yeah.
And regarding those clubs that you mentioned, are there any clubs that you guys are in, or you guys, I guess that Innovation Lab offers that?
So all of us, everybody at Innovation Lab is technically required to be in at least 2 clubs because during our Flex Wednesday we have Club A at the beginning of the day and then Club B at the end of the day. And usually there's like different clubs during both. Some clubs, like, I don't know, bigger clubs meet during both just so that more people can come. Yeah, D&D is during both. In terms of clubs that we have that other high schools don't have, I don't know if there are any specifically.
So we have like all the typical clubs.
Yeah.
We have to have them during the day because we don't have an activity bus.
So it'd be kind of unequitable.
Yeah,
to
just
have
because
them
we're
after
like
school.
kind of out there. We're in the Canyon Park Business Center. I know that I'm in debate club and then I'm in marketing club, so I kind of help like with outreach for the school and stuff like that. I know I have a friend who's in crochet club, and like I mentioned, we have like most of the typical clubs you would find at a high school.
Yeah. Do you guys have any like competition-based clubs? Like, for example, I don't know if you guys know like DECA, HOSA, TSA.
I know that chess club does.
Chess club does
This
competitions.
competition.
I think we
Debate
had
club
a debate
kind
club.
of does competition.
We
Yeah,
had
but
to
then-
figure out some stuff with the National Debate Society, but we're going to start hopefully this month.
Yeah, we also have Battle of the Books, I
Yeah.
think. I don't know if we have any other.
We had an ME1 club, but they may or may not have disbanded because they got bored. I don't recall.
Something like that, yeah.
I know that there's currently a student initiative to get DECA at our school. I don't know much about it because it's not something that I've personally looked into, but I think that there's a group of freshmen who are working on it as like their long-term project this year. So they're trying to get it implemented by next year.
I mean, if people want more competitive clubs, they can always make one. It's pretty simple. You kind of just do a form and ask ASB,
Two
can I make a,
students, a teacher.
can I make a club? Yeah,
So like a majority of your clubs are like solely within the school.
pretty much. We do have a lot of like work clubs, I guess you could say. I'm in Book Snake Club, which is just like a book club, but it's named silly. We're reading Project Hail Mary right now. So I'm in that one for first slot, and then second slot I'm in Climate Action Club, and we do a lot of like work. We're working on declaring climate emergency for Washington State, and then we're also working on planning an event for March 30th called our March for Climate event. And so it's just like a March event, and then we have like booths about information about climate change and how you can help and stuff like that. So a lot of clubs do things like that. They do projects outside of school, or like, you know, big things within the school like Earth Day.
Yeah.
So
That's pretty cool. I know we have our Earth Corps, which I think is pretty
Yeah.
similar to what you're talking about. I know
we know
they've
someone for Earth Corps. We're working with them for March.
That's cool. I know they've had a lot of issues with communicating with the school about, like, of course you were saying like declaring, what was it? National-
Washington declaring climate emergency.
Yeah, I just know a lot about, cause I know a lot of people in that club who have been very frustrated with how like the district and everything's handling it. Yeah.
Is there a reason why you guys like don't really have many competition-based clubs? Is there just not a demand for them?
Yeah,
It's mostly
probably.
that.
Also, I think because people are already in, like, you know, two clubs, starting a new club that would have enough members to do like a competition, like if we wanted to do Science Olympiad, you'd have to take people from their other clubs and put them in Science Olympiad. And if people are really happy with their clubs, then they're like, well, I like my club. I don't want to leave, but I also want to do Science Olympiad. So if we had more competition things, they might have to be like after school or something. I think there's just not really a demand right
Yeah,
now.
I know. I overheard some students talking about how they wanted to start like a robotics team.
Yeah.
But then one of the students was like, no, I can't do that because I have to go to Beyblade interest group. And it's like, this is why we don't have like competitive clubs. It's because you're going and playing with Beyblades. Like, there's definitely, we could have competitive clubs. People just haven't had that demand for them, like you were saying.
I see.
I am curious though, how many people like do go to Innovation Lab?
I think we have like
246?
and stuff. I don't know the exact number.
Just under or just over?
Yeah, I don't know, 250
Yeah.
something as of this year. And then
Yeah.
next year we
We
have
have
a decent amount of people enrolled because
We have, for Innovation Lab, because we have like a maximum capacity for each grade, we kind of have you like pre-sign up when you're coming in as a ninth grader. Also because we're like a choice school, so you have to at some point choose to go to that school.
can't just show up. Sorry.
I think that we have around 120 incoming ninth graders who have like put their name on the sign-in sheet. They've been like, hey, we want to go here, we're interested in this. So that's, I think, almost at the maximum capacity.
Yeah, I think the maximum capacity is 150 and then
Yeah.
we do, like a lottery thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. So next year we'll maybe have like 300, 350-ish, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah. But right now we got 250, which in my opinion is a pretty good number for our building size. The district is like, you could fit 400, 600 people in there. No, we can't. It looks big on the outside. On the inside, with all the classrooms like actually mapped out, it's definitely not quite big enough for 600 people to be walking around in the hallways and also cram into classrooms. I'd say like maybe 400 is our cap. but-
400 would be good,
So
yeah.
it fits good right now. It looks very full.
I was about to ask. You mentioned that you have about 250 students in
Yeah.
your school. What is like the average class size look like? How many students?
It's really wonky.
Yeah, because we have those classes that are like the classes you have to take to graduate high school, and those are usually bigger. Like my pre-calculus class, I think is the biggest one I have. It has about 33, 35 students.
Yeah, I'm in biomedical innovations, which I think is the class only Innovation Lab has. Basically, it's just a project-based class. We do biomedical stuff, assorted things, grant writing, project innovation, whatever. But I think that class is like 35, maybe 40. It's
Yeah.
really packed. We have like 6 project groups of 6 people, so I guess that's 36. Yeah, there's a lot. But I know we have 2 senior English classes. One of them happens during biomed, so everyone who is not in biomed is in that. And then the other one happens during first period. I think the first period one, we have like 18, maybe, something like that. But our 6th period one that happens during biomed is only like 10 people because everybody else is in biomed. And then we have, running start students. So it very much depends. I know I take D&D, improv and creative writing through D&D, which is a class. And that has like 12, 13 people in it because it's like a smaller elective.
My largest class is kind of like a home ec class. It's called adulting. It's where you learn how to pay taxes.
Yeah.
It has, I think, 7 students in it. So we can have like either very, very small classes or like kind of the average size class, depending on if it's like a core class or an elective.
Yeah.
How many different, so you said it can, obviously the class sizes can really vary. How many different courses are offered? I know that's not really a number you know off the top of your head, but I was just wondering, what does that look like?
So we have, trying to think, like I said, off the top of the head, kind of difficult. We have everything that you would expect out of like core classes, like physics, chemistry, biology,
history, all the free
U.S.
history,
world history, civics, contemporary world problems.
AP government, or just government. Last year was AP government.
This year it's college and high school, not AP.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we also have, the electives we have depend on what students vote for typically. In the ideal year where we have a perfect budget that was not restricted by the state, the year before, students would vote on the electives they wanted to see, which is why we almost ended up with a lockpicking class this year. Because one student was like, hey, the class I want to see? Lockpicking. And then everybody voted for that one. And they didn't give it because it was illegal.
That was insane.
So the amount of like classes we have outside of your core classes really depends on what students are signing up for the year before. I think this year we have just a wide variety of electives.
I know we have
don't
at
know
least
how many.
5
Yeah.
from the people that I know. I know we have
Yeah, because you're in biomed.
3 or
Or
maybe
forensics.
4 art classes that Miss Claire's doing.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
And then we have like D&D, we have geology,
US
we have
history through film.
photography, U.S. history through film, biomed, forensics is technically an elective
Yeah.
because it's a CTE class.
I
Computer
don't think
science,
that we should sit here and try to name all
advanced
of them.
programming stuff. I don't know,
Katie.
there's a lot of them.
So,
There's a few.
Okay, so going along with this voting system, if an elective gets voted into place, how do you guys find a teacher for that?
Usually somebody volunteers before we vote on the elective. So for D&D, somebody
I
had to
see.
volunteer to teach the class before we could decide to do that.
Okay.
The idea is there, but somebody has to be like, yeah, sure, I'm willing to teach that.
Yeah.
So a teacher has to be established
yeah.
before it becomes an
Yeah.
actual.
I know we almost had a Hindi class, but then nobody wanted to take it because the first year would have been entirely focused on learning the alphabet.
And we also didn't have a teacher.
We were going to get a teacher
Yeah.
if there was enough student interest.
I
So it
wanted
would
to
have
take
depended
that.
on the number of students, and then I think that our admin would have started negotiated with the district.
So then how does curriculum work? Because, if you have a D&D class, it's not really a curriculum your teacher can find. Do they just
Yeah,
They
make
make
it up?
it up. Yeah.
Pretty much. So a lot of biomed is based on another class that they teach in the Midwest or something, Project Lead the Way, which is a 4-year program or something, I think, and you take one class every year, and the last class is biomedical innovations. We didn't take those 4 classes. We were just thrown into biomedical innovations, but it works. So that one is already based on a set curriculum, and we have all the documents and the rubrics for the projects and stuff. We just kind of adapt them to make them the mastery rubrics that we're already using for everything else. In terms of D&D, we're kind of just, the teacher was just well, this is what I'm doing with it. and we just kind of stuck with that. So we did character making, and we learned the rules. Some of us already knew them because, you know, we were obviously already interested in playing D&D. We already kind of knew what it was. So learning the rules, character making, campaign building, DMing, and then we play as like a class. So we've been playing for like 3 classes now, and our classes are either 50 minutes or 90 minutes, so it's not like super long.
Yeah.
And then every like 5 sessions, we're going to do like a personal reflection, I think, until like mid-semester, quarter end-ish, when we're going to stop that campaign and we're going to start working on a new one and like creating one as a group or something. I don't know. But it is like creative writing and improv, so you're reflecting on like, it's kind of like a drama course, I guess.
Yeah, I know. I have a geology class, but it's based on a specific book that my teacher like read over the summer, and she wanted to make a class around that, which is why we have that class. So it's specifically about like geology in the Pacific Northwest area. I think it was based on a book called like The Restless Northwest or something.
I feel like
Probably you
I feel
read a
like
lot.
it's a textbook. I don't know.
No, it might be. So a lot of our curriculum is like based on where where teachers want to take it, and they have a lot of flexibility in like planning out what projects students will do, or kind of like, these are the core targets that I want these students to be hitting in this class and stuff like that.
And D&D as in Dungeons and Dragons. Right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Just wanted to make sure.
I probably should have clarified. Dungeons and Dragons, so look, role-playing game.
Yeah.
I kind of used the context to figure that one out, Daniel.
Well, just like, 'cause not everybody knows what it is.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
for the audience, yeah.
I was wondering, so where is the campus located?
I don't know
The
the exact
Boswell
address.
office part?
It's
I
in the
don't know.
Canyon
Yeah.
Park Business Center. Canyon Park Business Park. So
It's near
I think
where
I
the
know what
district
that is.
yeah,
office is.
it's near the district office.
Like the district office is here, and we're like over here, and there's
Yeah.
like a road. You just go around.
Yeah.
The North Creek Trail is also goes right next to our campus, so like on this side of the parking lot, you can just walk onto the trail.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of CGen facilities in the business park.
I know there's at least
Couple
one
other stuff.
Pfizer building that's close to us.
Yeah, because
So-
CGen got
Yeah.
bought by
So did the school just like move into an existing office
Kind of.
building?
We had to renovate it because the like building codes for an office versus a school
Yeah.
are very different.
Yeah.
I think it was like earthquake safety stuff.
Yeah, and
Yeah, we had to.
maybe fire stuff, but I think
Yeah,
mostly
and also,
earthquake.
you know, it was an office building, so it had all the cubicles and like no walls, and you're
Yeah.
like, well, you do need walls for classrooms.
It took
So
forever to get all the cubicles out because
Yeah.
we had to have like the office people.
They wouldn't
were-
let us just
No.
get rid of them ourselves, which is like, I can take this apart and put it outside. Why?
Yeah, they wouldn't let us get rid of
Like,
them.
we had
so
to like hire contractors. I think.
Yeah, we got
It
rid
was
of.
like-
They're finally gone though. We have that space to
Yeah,
use.
they've been gone. I think since like late June, July
Mhm.
this year.
Yeah. Last year.
Last year. So we have like we have walls between our classrooms, but they're like whiteboard walls. Some of them are movable, some of them are just there. I think
Yeah.
Mr. McTavish's are kind of just there.
Yeah.
But it kind of allows for more flexibility, so you can like open up classrooms if you need like a bigger space for like something during Flex Wednesday, and then you can also just like draw on the wall.
Yeah.
Instead of having everybody need to be situated in front of like this one board. It's a little bit easier, and we have, I don't know if you guys have the like weird TV things on wheels.
The Prometheus
Yeah.
boards.
I don't think ours are on
Oh, yeah,
wheels.
ours are on
Yeah.
wheels, yeah.
There's
Well,
a
ours
couple
are on wheels, we just move them around. They're very annoying still. They never connect correctly.
So do you guys have more of like the specialized rooms for like orchestra, like theater?
So we technically don't have like a band room or a theater. We do have a gym. It's not like tiled, but you know, falling on carpet is a little bit nicer than falling on tile. Maybe skid your knees more,
Kind
but
of just
I
a
don't know.
really big empty room
Big
on the
empty
first
room
floor.
that
I
you
don't
can
even
run
know if it
around
would
in.
count as a gym really,
It's a
but
gym.
it's
Yeah,
big
but
enough.
because we're technically like the office building and they didn't want to make that many changes, the district was like, they didn't put tiles into our art room until last year because they were like, no, we need to hire contractors. And we were like, can we just rip up the carpet?
Yeah, no,
It's not
I
hard.
remember at the end of 10th grade, there was a group of students who just started cutting up the carpet and ripping it off themselves.
They
and
were
they had
like-
to put it back.
And the district was like, no, you can't do that. And we're like, fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't have a theater because we don't have a band room because we don't have like the acoustics to make that. But if you want to do like theater or band, you can just go to your home high school and be like, I'm here to do band. And they're like, we don't know you
Okay.
don't go here, so sure.
Basically.
Pretty much. Technically, they're legally like required to
Yeah.
let you
Same
join
with
band.
sports
I do
and
theater
stuff.
at
That's
Valpo.
what I was going to say too, because I
Yeah.
mean, I've heard that like you can do sports theater
Yeah.
home high school. What does that sort of look like? Because I know for me, my practice can either start at like 4 or it could be like
Yeah.
3:45. So is there enough time in between the end of school?
Yeah, so first of all, we have all the sports coaches kind of get like, hey, this is a kid who has, like, they're from Innovation Lab. If they're like 10 minutes late, don't give them a penalty. And they're usually like, yeah, sure. And then what happens is for our buses, at the end of the day, they actually take you to your home high school first, and then you would get on the bus that you would take to get to your home if you were from that like
That's
going to
weird.
that school. So you kind of
That's
like
for everybody or just sports?
for everybody, yeah.
Anyone who needs to take the bus, which is a lot of people. We
Yeah.
did a survey a while
Yeah,
ago.
and then it gets you back to your home school about the time that that home school like ends.
so that you can take their buses.
And that's
I
usually
know
right in time for things like drama, sports, stuff like that.
for things like North Creek and Bothell, which are pretty, like, Innovation Lab is kind of between them. Bothell is like 15-minute, 8-minute drive away. I do theater at Bothell. I just drive in Bothell.
Yeah.
So it probably going to like Inglemore or Woodinville, you would need more time and you'd maybe just take one of the buses, but it's pretty
Yeah.
easy. And usually you can be like, hey, just, I'm from this school and, I might be a little bit late. And usually people are pretty cool with it. I know rehearsal doesn't start until like 3:30 at Bothell, so they have like 15 minutes to get to their own theater stuff. Usually works pretty good.
What
So you-
time? Oh, sorry.
So you guys just end earlier then?
That's
right?
awesome.
I
Yeah.
think we have
Like,
like
15 minutes or
15
then
minutes.
Bothell anyway.
I
I
know
don't
we
know about other
we
schools.
start at 8:10 and we end at 3. I know that we have maybe like 10 or 15 minutes less in the school day just because of buses. I don't remember the exact amount of time though.
Yeah, we start at 8:15 and we end at 3:15. So yeah, it's like
Yeah.
exactly like you said. It's like
Yeah.
10 minutes difference.
Yeah, so that kind of helps with like the getting to other schools because you have like that 15-minute buffer because even if practice starts exactly at like 3:15,
Then, yeah,
you'll probably already be there because you had like 15 minutes. But yeah,
Do buses work the same way to get to school, or how does that work?
kind of.
They, instead of going to your high school for some reason, they go to your middle school,
Which is weird.
which is, I'm not actually sure why.
I don't.
So
Maybe
you-
because middle school starts earlier. so
Maybe,
they
it
don't-
might be that, yeah.
I don't know.
I think it's that. So you go to your like home middle school, and then from there you get a shuttle bus to Innovation Lab. And I think that there's one, I think Timbercrest, is that the name of it?
I
Where
don't
they
know.
just
I know
have,
that's a school. I don't know if
yeah,
it's all
they
right.
have a bus that just goes like directly to Innovation Lab because of like time logistics.
Okay, yeah.
I
So
think-
do you guys have
yeah.
buses that go from your homes, or do you have to like drive to your middle school?
We
Or
have
different?
to like go to your middle school, or I walk with my younger brother to his bus stop every day. He's in 8th grade. And then I take the bus with him.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just weird because I think the district technically doesn't have enough buses to also run Innovation Lab and also middle school and also high school and have them all get out at the same time.
We just don't have enough buses.
Yeah, we need more buses. But, oh well, it works pretty good.
Mhm.
Nobody's gotten lost yet, I think.
Except for me one time.
One time, that's good.
This is a bit of a random segue, but we have my favorite segment on this podcast is Nordic Eats. Usually we have Lucas back here. He's a big foodie. We ask him questions about what he's eaten recently, but I guess to make this kind of innovation lab, like, what does the cafeteria look like? That's just what I was wondering.
So we have basically an office worker cafeteria.
It looks fancy-ish
It looks
if you look at it.
fancy.
It looks fancy-ish
Yeah.
until you're like, well,
And
wait,
then we
it's
have
not all I see.
we have a couple vending machines. One has like breakfast stuff, and one has kind of snack things. I think there are like Izzy's, Pop Tarts.
Yeah,
some
we have a lot of
chips.
snack stuff this week.
Yeah, I'm really glad because
Yeah.
I really like snacks.
I'm gluten free, so I'm just happy they have like one thing I can eat in there.
Yeah, and then we have one lunch lady. She's really, really nice. Then we have the same lunch as, I think it's the same lunch as the middle schools.
No.
I know that we have like the
It's
same
weird now.
hot lunch as some grade level in the district. That's either middle school or high school. And then we can also leave campus if you're like, if you get permission. Yeah.
Something. You have to sign the
Mhm.
form,
Yeah, and then you can also get DoorDash, which is really good.
but only during lunch. I
Only
think.
during lunch.
I don't think we're allowed to get DoorDash.
Yeah.
And
That's
actually,
sad.
also, our like juniors at Inglemore aren't allowed to leave campus
Oh.
to get lunch either. It's only the seniors, and that makes it kind of tough for us. It's
Yeah, we were very like vocal about it last year. We were like, the other high schools can leave. Why can't we leave? And it's also like pretty easy because it's like one building. You just go out to the parking lot, and there's also like a McDonald's and a Starbucks and a couple of restaurants inside like the business park for
Yeah.
just the normal office workers to go to. So it's all kind of close by anyway. For like seating at lunch, we have, you know, our commons, our cafeteria, which is the like original office workers ones, and then we have like a little kitchenette on every floor. So it's like a fridge and like a stove and a sink.
A
Is there a
microwave
stove?
on a stove.
Yeah, a microwave, and a bunch of like pantry cupboards and stuff. And technically, you can't sit on the second or third floor, but if a teacher is up there and they're like, "Yeah, sure, you can sit in my room," you can sit there. We also have just like you can sit anywhere on the first floor, basically, except where ATI is, because adults transitioning to independence.
It's such a long story. I don't know
Yeah,
if we'll have
they're in our
time.
building because the portables
They're-
that they were in got moldy, and they needed a place to be.
Yeah, so
So they're
Bothell
in
High
like their
School
own little
program,
corner.
Bothell High School portable, full of mold, living with us, move out at the end of the year, back to Bothell High School, mold-free portable.
Yeah, but we
Yay.
can't sit in their space during lunch, but you can sit anywhere else. You can sit in the gym. You can sit in any of the teachers' rooms that are downstairs if they say that you can sit there. Miss Mo does not want us to sit in her room. But it works pretty good, and it's also like more interesting formations of people. It like fits better without the tables in some of the rooms because you just sit in a circle or whatever. And then like if we have activities during lunch, like this week we're doing Street Fighter tournament. So we have that in one of the rooms, and you can just walk over there and sit on the floor in the room and watch if you feel like it. But it works.
Okay, we'll let you talk to the considerations.
I was gonna say we don't do a chair.
Just going to make you sit on
Hi
the
guys.
Yeah, right in the
Hi.
middle.
All right, so I guess we should kind of like address like how this kind of came to be.
Yeah.
So from my understanding, at least, you know, in our recent print article, we had a story about Innovation Lab written by Rishi. And could you guys kind of just like tell us like your response to that and like how that kind of led us here?
Sure. So, Rishi, your experiences at Innovation Lab were in like our first year in the building. And they did kind of suck. It was our first year in the building, but you're totally valid in
Yeah.
saying like, this sucked while I was here. Because during that year, it did kind of suck.
Yeah.
We didn't have everything quite worked out. But like literally right after you left, everything kind of started clicking in place. And also, I'm like so sorry you missed that and had that experience at Innovation Lab.
I recognize, yeah, my experience was very outdated, and the uproar that I got, you know, really made me feel that. No, it's fine. Because you guys, your feelings were valid, and I feel like I didn't really talk about all the positive experiences I had there, even if it was, like, I guess you know, it was
pretty
really
bad.
bad.
Yeah.
I had like really positive experiences within like crew. I loved my crew class, and I made lots of new friends there. I feel like, yeah, I'm sorry for offending everyone, but
But like the way that everything just kind of clicked into place, like after you left, so a lot of our underclassmen were really upset because
They
they
didn't
felt
really have the context
Yeah.
of being there that first year and being like, yeah, it was kind of questionable.
Yeah, and they feel really like strongly attached to the school because it's always worked really well for them. So they got like it was very defensive response from like everybody at the school. So like
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, so you were there like 2021, 22-ish
Yeah.
school year. So like 2-3 years ago. So after you left, we got our vice principal. And the
I
same
had to
year,
really turn things around.
yeah,
Yeah.
we had a lot of
It was
admin
really cool.
changes.
Yeah.
we had a lot of admin changes, but then you know the budget cuts, and we got our vice principal removed because budget cuts, and they were cutting administration, and then our principal mysteriously disappeared, and we got a new principal. They still haven't explained that. So.
Admin changes.
Admin changes, and then we also changed our grading system. We switched to a more mastery-based approach, which is hard because the district and the state still require us to have the traditional transcripts because you need those to graduate, so it has to translate, and it doesn't work very well. So our grading system kind of changed, and then we actually like figured out what we were doing with the mastery skills and started like actually having a transcript. So I think a lot of like the backlash that you got about your opinion in your article was underclassmen who were like, this is just blatantly false. Well, like now it kind of is, but then it was
Yeah.
definitely kind of true.
And I know there were also some upperclassmen who were kind of upset because even though it wasn't like an opinion article and it was in the opinion section, they
Yeah.
felt like you were presenting your opinions as facts.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they were just kind of. I know that you got lots of comments about it that kind of
Yeah.
explain it better
No,
than I could.
feel like I could have done a better job on my part, like actually giving them more updated facts. Yeah, I feel like for me at Innovation Lab, especially with things like the Flex Wednesdays and a lot of the student-led stuff, like I had to deal with a lot of people not really like bringing their weight in the group or
Yeah.
stuff. And I think that kind of influenced my opinion
Yeah.
about like the student-led environment.
I think that was a decent problem in like the earlier years before we kind of got used to it. I remember our first few Flex Wednesdays when you were at Innovation Lab, that like first actual school year.
We had like the trial Flex Wednesdays.
Yeah.
A couple teachers were like, "Oh, nobody does work during them," and like you're always slack off. And we were like, "Okay, that's a few people, but if we keep doing it and we show that like it can work, people will utilize it because they know that they like have that time." So now we have like a lot of people who are really utilizing that time, and everybody is like, planning to do stuff during Perseverance time during Flex Wednesday. Whereas that like first few years, people were like not really sure about it, and we hadn't really done it very much. So it was definitely like sometimes you'd get that one group project with like that one person who didn't do anything, and you'd be like, "Guys, this is our whole grade."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that year students also had a lot of like COVID fatigue.
Yeah.
I know for my grade, we had never had an in-person year in high school before. For your grade, you guys had totally missed that transitional period between like middle school and high school. So it was just kind of messy because of the pandemic
Yeah.
and just the way that that influenced everybody's approach to academics in general.
Yeah.
And just for the reader's sake, or like the viewer's sake, can you guys talk about like specific points that you noticed in Rishi's that you would like to like address? Or
Or
give your
AT&T
perspective.
complimentary.
No, that wasn't my bad.
It's okay. I mean, they're kind of like the same thing.
Yeah.
One of them is
Very
just pink, and the other one is blue.
I thought it was red. They're blue?
No, so
No.
wait, AT&T is like the one that looks like a lollipop top.
Oh,
It's like
I'm
blue
not a
with
real
like white
English lab
swirls.
student.
I don't know. I've seen too many like insurance
Yeah.
and Wi-Fi commercials or whatever. You can like faintly see where that logo was on the very top of the building, but like if you don't look for it, you can't find it. We don't have cubicles anymore. We got rid of them last year, so they were there when you were there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were kind of annoying, but we got rid of them and we put classrooms there instead. Our library and our makerspace and a couple of classrooms are in those areas now,
Yeah.
so no more cubicles. We still don't have doors technically, but it would be kind of weird to install
Yeah.
them at this point
That
because
part
it
was
wouldn't
on purpose.
work very well with the whiteboard walls. That's just one thing that I remember.
Yeah.
I read the
There
article a
was-
couple weeks ago.
There was another issue with the marketing. This was something you highlighted in your article. We didn't actually have very good communication with the district, so they were trying to market us as a STEM school. We were kind of chasing around saying, "Hey, no, that's wrong. We're not a STEM school." And we just were able to get like solid contact with them at the start of this year to start undoing that.
Yeah.
So there's like a just kind of miss in communication with how it was marketed.
So yeah, I think I would still stand by my opinion then that the district definitely marketed it as
Yeah.
a STEM school. Because like I talked to numerous people who transferred out, and
Yeah.
they all thought like that they were going to be actually innovating in STEM.
Yeah.
And-
Yeah.
But I'm happy that the district is finally
Yeah.
making that change.
Very happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like the district up until this point very much wanted it to be like, oh, we have very diverse students. We're a STEM school. We have like great test scores and everything. We do actually have.
We
pretty
have good
decent
test scores, but we're not a STEM
but we're not a STEM school, and we are theoretically just as diverse as most of the other high schools. I guess, yeah. Pretty much. So they were marketing it like that, and it wasn't necessarily based on facts. And we were like, well, our marketing materials don't mention anything about any of that. It's more focused on what we actually are, like, mastery learning, project-based learning, Flex Wednesdays, community, crew, stuff like that. And so finally being able to connect with the district was really nice. I also think after, like, the vice principal shenanigans last year where with the budget cuts, Innovation Lab kind of found a culture of like, oh, that district, man, they taken our vice principals. So like to be able to actually work with them this year was really nice. And so I think people kind of like freaked out about that a little bit because they were like, we're finally working with the district. But I definitely understand where you're coming from because it was interesting.
Well, unless you guys have anything else to add, I'll give you an opportunity now to say any closing statements. Go ahead.
Bethany?
I don't know. Innovation Lab is just as cool as a normal high school, and if it works for you, works for you. If it doesn't, there's lots of other high schools.
If it doesn't, come to Inglemoor.
Yeah.
We're not like innovating in STEM as much as it's like innovating in teaching styles and trying to like, take a new approach to learning as a whole.
Oh, and also, I know some people, at least initially, back when Rishi was going to Innovation Lab, and also, before that, and also still currently, people are worried, like, if I go to Innovation Lab, is there any guarantee that my kid will get into college or, other post-high school institutions? Yes, you will. I don't know anybody who has not been accepted to at least one college of their choice who applied. So it works. And some people submitted their mastery transcripts. Other people decided to submit their traditional ones. I did my traditional one because I didn't think my mastery one was quite ready yet, but it works. We didn't all crash and burn.
And you guys said you're both seniors, so I just want to say good luck on the college experience. I know
you guys got to do it next year.
yeah, I'm not looking forward to that. But I just want to say thank you guys so much for coming out here. I mean, honestly, we had no idea what to expect about this school, and I think it's really great that we have this sort of new perspective. So thank you guys.
You're welcome.
Oh, and also, I just wanted to give my deepest apology to everyone I heard. Thank you for having this talk with everyone. I think you guys really brought a lot of the positive experiences to Innovation Lab to light.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
I think.
Sorry, no, you're going to give me.
I think Inglemoor and Innovation Lab, we're more similar than we think. And hopefully moving forward, we can like kind of bond with each other instead of giving each other side eyes from internet forum. Just like working with each other instead of against each other.
Yeah.
I also like to highlight your negative experiences with Innovation Lab are still valid. You did still experience that. But it is also important to highlight positive things. So I am glad that you put your opinion out there and, said like, hey, this thing did happen to me. I liked that you put at the end of our article, like, hey, you should research if you want to go to Innovation Lab. You shouldn't just, make a rash choice. That's a good advice. It's not for everybody, but it might be for you. So if you're interested,